Thanks for tuning into Dirty Teeth and welcome back to the channel. It's definitely that time of the year. My kids, my wife, they're glued to the TV watching Hallmark movies. Let me turn my phone off real quick. That means winter is creeping in and fat biking season is upon us. I'm stoked to share some gift ideas for the cold weather cyclists in your life. And hopefully there's some ideas in here for you to put on your own list as well. I've got items for all budgets, things geared towards seasoned cyclists, as well as stuff for people that may be fat bike curious and just want to dip their toes. By the end, I'm pretty sure you'll find something that clicks with you, so let's dig in. I'll start with some low-hanging fruit, something that you can't go wrong with, comfy, cozy socks. Oh man, I love the way this alpaca feels. For winter riding, the longer and warmer the socks, the better. Your best bet is something that goes up to just below your knee or at least boot height. And they should be constructed primarily of either merino or alpaca wool. Both have great warmth to weight ratios and continue to keep you warm even when they're sweaty. One great option are these over-the-calf hunting socks from Darn Tough. They're thick and stretchy with a bunch of padding and they'll last forever, trust me. They know it too, which is why they have a lifetime guarantee. I also like the Long John over-the-calf socks from Warrior Alpaca. They're not as thick or cushiony as the Darn Tough socks, but they're lighter and softer and just as warm. And they're great for just lounging around the house. You can't go wrong with either, so if you're having trouble deciding, just get both. A little while ago, I made a video about a small eyewear company called DOS Optics. Since then, the days have gotten a lot shorter, and it's easy for afternoon rides to slip past sunset into night mode. Chris, the owner, reminded me they have some photochromic glasses now. These are called the Solus. Long story short, I got a pair, and it's pretty much all I've been wearing. With these, there's no more dealing with lens swaps or any of that. They've got great coverage and I've had no issues with them fogging up. Believe it or not, these only cost $34.99 and they still give $10 for every pair sold to a nonprofit or organization of your choice. Awesome, right? Buy a pair for your homie, get another one for yourself, and you'll be glad you did. I love attaching a lifting strap to my fat bike. It comes in handy so often when you're going through deep snow drifts or you have to lift your bike up and over debris or down trees. It's especially useful if you're using a frame bag and have nowhere to grab onto. But even if not, it keeps you from touching the frame directly, which can instantly freeze your hands even when you have gloves on. If you're curious about making one of these, I go into more detail in my DIY lifting strap video. But if you're just looking for a cool gift to buy, I make these with my buddy right here in Idaho, and I've got them for sale on my website, link in the description. In my opinion, every winter fat biker that's going to be riding in freezing conditions and snow and wants their hands to stay toasty should be using Pogies. Trust me, I've used the big old lobster gloves and the dexterity is just junk, and I've still frozen my fingers. I'm sure some of you will heartily disagree, or maybe you like battery heated gloves, and that's okay. Let her rip in the comments, I can take it. I do a deeper dive in my cold hands video, but Pogies come in all types and varieties, varying between different budgets and temperature ranges. But my 2 cents, you can't go wrong with Dogwood Design's regular Pogies for most conditions and their Winter Pogies Plus for extreme sub-zero temps. 45 North Cobra Fists are also a great option for seriously cold temps. And I'd recommend the lighter weight Wolf Tooth single track Pogies for more moderate temps and versatility. If you're wondering why Revelate Pogies aren't on the list, I actually reached out to them and they're discontinuing them from their winter line this year. That's a bummer because they're great Pogies, but maybe we'll see an updated version of them next year like they did with their panniers. There's also some good neoprene options from Barmitz or other cheaper ones on Amazon from Rock Bros and other companies as well. Those should also do the job as well, especially if you're not sure if your giftee even wants them or is going to be stoked on them. As a reminder, I'll link to everything I discuss in the video description. If you're gifting Pogies or your giftee already has Pogies, maybe consider some gloves. But some lightweight fleece or merino liner gloves work great inside Pogies and will keep your hands warm in most temperatures. Personally, I dig these Montbell chemise gloves. They're about 20 bucks, super light, super thin, and super soft. But any ski liner should be fine. If your giftee's gonna be riding in extremely cold temps, like single digits and below, I'd consider these 45 North Stormfist 5s. They're very warm, but still have a light and supple feel and great dexterity on the brake and shift levers. 45 North rates them down to 15 degrees on their own. For me, that's a bit of a stretch, but I'll use them without Pogies down to around 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So if your giftee isn't quite into Pogie weather, these might be the ticket. I'll also mention these heat lock gloves. They're sold at many Alaskan hardware stores and also available on Amazon. While researching gear for the Iditarod, I came across a lifelong dog musher from Fairbanks who swears by them. So I decided to buy some. They only cost around 19 bucks and they're warm and comfy and worth every penny. I use them more for chores around the house like shoveling and blowing snow. This year I even used them when I was cutting down my Christmas tree. So yeah, they're great to have both on and off the bike. Somewhat related to gloves are grips. If you've been a subscriber for a while, you've no doubt heard me touting ergon grips. But when I'm fat biking with Pogies, I actually prefer chunky and squishy silicone grips. You can't go wrong with something like the Mega Fat Paws from Wolftooth. They make a regular and a cam version with one side that is flat. Either one will make a great gift. There's nothing worse than riding in the shoulder season when the rain isn't sure if it wants to be snow and you just get snake. Yes, that's a word. My wife told me so. Anyway, riding in that wet slushiness is no bueno for you or your bike. I've been using and recommending Dave's mud shovels for years. They're made by Portland Design Works, also called PDW, out of, you guessed it, Portland, Oregon. They're super light with a super simple design, and they offer massive coverage at a cheap price. They also go on and off in a snap. No pun intended. P.S. If you're looking for some fenders for a regular bike, check out the Origamis. They're pretty much the same as the mud shovels, just smaller. I also use their Daybot taillight, and they hands down have the most creative water bottles around. Check them out. Another fun gift is a burrito bag. They've gotten pretty popular in the road and gravel crowds, but they're equally as useful on fat bikes. I'll stick spare gloves, a beanie or a buff, and a couple snacks in there. This one also has an internal zipper pocket where you can stash some hand warmers, some extra cash, or some Advil. But what I like the most is the bungee cord on the front, because I'll use this to strap on some lightweight gear from time to time. Anyway, there's a lot of options out there, but this one was only 20 bucks and it's now Iditarod tested, link below. Us fat bikers are constantly changing tire pressure based on ever-changing snow conditions. This makes an efficient high-volume frame pump a can't-miss gift. I took this Lazine micro floor pump to Alaska and it gets 2 thumbs up. It comes with a speed chuck adapter that allows you to just push it on instead of threading it onto a Presta valve, which is so much faster and easier, especially in super cold conditions. This pump moves a bunch of air with every stroke, thus saving time and energy, which is a must for fat biking, and it's also pretty lightweight. Going hand in hand with a high volume pump is an accurate tire pressure gauge. Tire pressure on snow is so critical that even half or 1 psi can make the difference between slipping out and keeping traction. There are digital options made by Topeak, SKS, and others. I've personally used the Topeak Smart Gauge and it's top notch. But you can't go wrong with an old school analog version made by Miser either. This one goes to 30 psi, which is great for mountain biking, while still having enough detail for low pressure fat biking. And you don't need batteries. After riding in freezing temps for a while, a warm drink like hot tea or miso soup are 2 of my favorite pick-me-ups. Check out all my stickers. Check out all my stickers. So a nice double wall thermos is a must. Even if you just want plain old water, you don't have to worry about it freezing. I've tried a bunch and I recommend Hydro Flask or Clean Canteen. I also tend to go with the bigger sizes like 24 ounce or 32 ounce, and I like the wide mouth versions. It's much easier if you're loading it with noodle soup or ramen and want to get a spoon in there. Also, when you're using it during summertime with scorching temps, it's much easier to get ice in. Hydro Flask also has an ultralight series, which I highly recommend, especially for your weight weenies out there. It's significantly lighter and still keeps your liquids nice and hot for a good long while. So I'm thinking a thermos is a great gift on its own, but if you want to up the ante a little bit, you're going to need a pouch to carry it in. Enter the Devil's Kettle from Burrito Bags based in Minnesota. It's insulated and has a magnetic closure which is fast and easy to use with gloves on. This is the XL version and it's been specifically designed with 32 ounce hydro flasks in mind. FYI, since the ultralight hydro flasks are a little taller than the regular ones, they're just a little too tall for this pouch to close properly. So I just added a Velcro tab and a little bit of paracord to keep the top closed. I took it on the Iditarod and it works just fine. The pouch itself attaches to your handlebars, stem, and fork the way any other feed bag does. Simps. Many folks like the option of fat biking on flat pedals, even if they enjoy using clipless pedals most of the time, myself included. For these people, flip-flop pedals could be a nice gesture. I like the double shots from Crank Brothers, but there are similar SPD versions out there as well. That way, you can clip in if you want, but if your cleat packs up with snow or you're getting on and off the bike a bunch, you can always switch it over to the flat side. The double shots are offered in multiple versions and price points. I like the Series 1s, which are the lightest and also happen to be the cheapest. The body is made of plastic instead of metal, which also won't suck as much heat away from your feet. I'm a rhymer. As a bonus, how about some smaller add-ons to round it all out? I have another gift guide devoted solely to stocking stuffers. But here's a few winter-specific ideas that are always useful. Silicone brake lever covers to help ensure your giftee doesn't freeze their fingertips on long descents. Dermatone pomade to rub on your face for protection against windburn and frost nip. Smells like coconut. Along the same lines, I like Dermatone face stick, which is pretty similar. It's just easier to apply without taking your gloves off. It's pretty much a big fat chapstick tube, and yes, I would also recommend Dermatone chapstick as a stocking stuffer. Finally, throw in a pack or two of chemical hand warmers just because. That's it, I'm tapped out and it's time for me to go take a ride. I'd like to give a quick shout out to our newest channel members that have made this video possible. Thank you so much. If you like any of these ideas, please consider sharing the video and giving it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And if you're already subscribed, please consider joining as a member. You'll gain access to members-only videos, other perks, and it really helps me to keep the content flowing. And until next time, ride bikes, give back, pay it forward.